What's going on, YouTube? It's your boy, CamATL, and welcome back to another NFL video with your boy. Drop a like down below because I already know you're going to love it. Comment anything in the comment section and enter your name into the $50 giveaway I do every single week on this channel. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Thank you guys for joining me. As always, this is the NFL Week 8 final look video. As you guys know, early in the week, we built a lineup together, pretty much just talk about the people that we're putting into the lineup. And then as information comes out throughout the week, we do a full slate breakdown later on Fridays, where we go position by position and pretty much talk about the core that we're interested in position by position. So yes, it's going to be about six people from each position or so, depending on how deep we're really wanting to how many options there are at the position, and we're just going to kind of limit the player pool down for you guys. All right. So first and foremost, let's start off at quarterback. Now, at the top of the projections is Jalen Hurts. Makes a ton of sense, obviously, with the rushing ability that Jalen Hurts has. He's always going to give you a solid floor. He has some good upside, especially if he tosses a few, runs a few, or even runs one. At 8-3, though, he's not my favorite play on the slate because at the end of the day, as you can see, look at the point per salary 3.1 compared to 3.7, 3.7, 3.5, 3.6. There's a lot of point per salary better than Jalen Hurts this week. And the main reason for me is that it's against Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh, I don't believe is going to put up too much of a fight here and make this enough of a situation where Jalen Hurts is going to need to do a ton through the air. All it's going to be is really Jalen Hurts any ground game stuff, which he can still do well on the ground, especially once they get up a certain amount. But there's a couple factors here. With the fact that Philly is a run heavy team, period. With the fact that they're going to be up already, I just don't see a ton of need for Jalen Hurts and a ton for him to be like necessary at 8-3. All right. Tua, though, I do see a reason for. He's in Detroit in a dome. Now, this is another situation where maybe Detroit doesn't keep the game competitive. That's fine. But with Detroit being at home, maybe they keep this game a little more competitive. But at the end of the day, Miami's a pass heavy team. Miami throws passes, I believe, like 66% of the time, something like that. So they're a pass heavy team. Tua's got the targets of Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle. He's got some amazing targets. The run game is actually opening up well for them, so which is going to open up even more for the pass. Tua is a great spot here at a 6'2". He's one of my favorite plays on the entire slate. And I love the receivers options that he has, so it gives you a good pairing as well in your lineup. So I do like Tua. The only negative that you could possibly say with Tua is maybe you don't feel great about any run back from Detroit. So maybe the correlation you don't have any run back. But last week we had a huge week, and I didn't have any run back last week either. So you don't have to, but in GPPs when you're going for that top spot, it's definitely interesting too because if Tua connects a ton with Tyreek Hill, let's say, right, and Tua and Tyreek Hill have a huge game, then that means it's going to be a very pass-heavy game script for Detroit on the other side, and maybe a Detroit receiver makes a lot of sense. So yes, that's fine, but the problem is the pricing on them and stuff like that doesn't make it very easy to do that. You know what I mean? And you're still having to risk playing a guy who is maybe priced up more than he should be, but we'll talk about it. But no matter what, Tua at 6'2" is in play, especially with the targets he has, and in this spot against Detroit. Kirk Cousins. This is another game that's a good one. It's in a dome again. Uh, he's the same point per salary as I see with Tua. Kirk Cousins against Arizona. It's a great matchup here. All right, I do love Kirk Cousins, and obviously you love the pairings with him. So him and Justin Jefferson are fine. Him and Adam Thielen, whatever, that's fine. I do like Tua more slightly, as you can see, but point per dollar they're about even for me. I'm not gonna have a ton of Kyler because the price is 7.5. Derek Carr is one of the guys that grades out well for me at 5'9". He's interesting. Obviously, he has Devontae Adams to throw the ball to, so he's going to be a fine play. Josh Jacobs has been absolutely killing it, so that might take away a little bit from Carr, but at 5'9", Carr's in play. Jared Goff, the same reasoning I said earlier. Because I expect Miami to be up big, Jared Goff is going to have to do nothing but throwing in this game. So at 5'5", he's got a solid floor for me. I feel good about Jared Goff possibly hitting value, but there's nobody really I feel good pairing him with. Andy Dalton, another guy that's an interesting spot here. Going against the Raiders. The Raiders are a bad secondary. Raiders should be up, so Andy Dalton should have to do a lot of throwing. Once again, I mean, you compare him with Olave, you compare him with Kamara even, because Kamara is a running back slash wide receiver one. So that's fine. I like him. Mariota for his rushing ability is a solid option. At 5'4", you can because he's got that rushing floor. Sam Ellinger is my main guy, as you know. Look at that 4.6 point per salary. Like if you sort, it's miles ahead of anyone else. Look at that 4.6 compared to 3.7. So as you guys can see, Sam Ellinger is my main guy that I'm really have interest in because the matchup's amazing. He's at home in a dome. Everything just kind of adds up for me. So Sam Ellinger at only 4K is just too cheap getting the start, and he's got some rushing potential to give you a floor. But that's about it for quarterbacks. All right, let's move over to running backs. As you can see, I have it sorted point per salary already. Kenneth Walker, once again, is high on my list, especially with DK Metcalf out. Let me refresh my memory on Metcalf. How is Metcalf coming along? Metcalf has not practiced yet this week. I'm expecting Metcalf to miss. So they're going to lean even heavier on the run. They're already a pretty heavy run team. They're going to lean even more on the run this week. And expect a lot of Kenneth Walker. He's going to get a ton of work. So just off that alone, he's my favorite point per salary running back this week. Ramondre Stevenson. Damian Harris is back, but Stevenson is the guy here. All right. Stevenson is an amazing option once again, just off the workload he's going to get, the amount of pass game, the amount that he gets involved in the pass game. All that stuff is great for Stevenson. I'm all over Stevenson once again. Fantastic play for me. Derrick Henry, you guys know how much I love him. If you have the money, go for it. If you have to choose between a Derrick Henry or a Tyreek Hill and you have Tua, go Tyreek and pair him up with Tua. All right, just kind of go off that. And it's full point PPR on DraftKings, so you want to side with the more PPR friendly play anyway. So I would side Tyreek Hill probably, especially if you have Tua. But Derrick Henry's a fantastic option. And if it looks like he's going to be very low owned, that's a way you can get different and have a big play potential guy in your lineup for low owned. Dante Foreman, right before I started this video, Chuba Hubbard was ruled out. So with that being said, Dante Foreman's going to get every Carolina carry. And at 5'3", in a good matchup against Atlanta, he's going to get every dump off. He's going to get every carry. Dante Foreman is one of my locks probably at 5'3". Love him as a play this week. I just quickly moved him up to 15 for the video, but I'm going to adjust that and make it more accurate as time goes on. But right now, I just bumped him up so point per dollar he was here on the list when I talked about it because I hadn't adjusted it or taken much time to get his projection exactly where I want it with that news, but I will. And it probably will be higher than 15, but we'll see. Damian Pierce, once again, is a solid option at 6'3". He's been great. Josh Jacobs has been fantastic. Mostert, in a situation where if Tua and Tyreek are going to be high owned, you can pivot to a lower owned strategy and go the run game where they should be up in this one. So that's interesting at 5'9". But I do prefer the pass game because they're such a pass heavy team to begin with. Alvin Kamara, once again, he's a running back plus wide receiver one. He's a fantastic option. But mainly, guys, I'm not going to go through every running back. Kenneth Walker, Stevenson, Derrick Henry, Foreman. If you have the money, sure, Jacobs in that range. But I haven't had a ton of that money throughout. I've been kind of going the mid-range because I really like that mid-range 6K, 5K range. So I've been going a lot of that when it comes to my running backs this week. We got a lot of options. We do have value-ish options at running back. So that's kind of the way I've been going here. At wide receiver, DJ Moore grades out as the best point per dollar. I get it. He's on a bad offense, guys. All right, he's on a bad offense, but this game is in a dome in Atlanta, and DJ Moore is going to be the biggest offensive guy on Carolina. No matter what, DJ Moore is going to get funneled targets, and at the end of the day, you got McCaffrey gone, Robbie Anderson gone. He is the target. Is he on a great offense? No. Is he on a great team? Hell no. But DJ Moore is going to be heavily targeted. And in full point PPR situations, DJ Moore's fantastic to me. Tyreek Hill. I'm not just, telling you these things because I'm just telling you these. I mean this shit when I say Tyreek Hill, Tua, amazing pairing. Tua, Waddle, amazing pairing. Tyreek Hill is my go-to, though, if I can. Like I said, if you have to choose between Tyreek and Derrick Henry, it would be Tyreek. But yeah, that Tua Tyreek Hill pairing, I love that this week. Robert Woods, solid spot here at 5'4", great matchup against Houston. Adam Thielen, Justin Jefferson. I talked about Cousins. He's got two options that are great point per dollar values to me. At 9-1, Jefferson is pricey. If you want to get a pairing with Cousins, let's say you have Cousins, but you want a more reasonable pairing to get more balance in your lineup, that's Adam Thielen. Actually, hold on. I missed something that just popped in my head. Why is Pollard? Okay, I have to adjust Tony Pollard's projection as well. I'm going to go 17.5. That feels good to me. Tony Pollard is very, very important this week as well. Okay, sorry. I'm glad I remembered that just now because I saw CeeDee Lamb and saw Dallas and was like, wait, Zeke's out. Tony, where was Tony Pollard on my rankings? Tony Pollard will be, if not the favorite point per salary play this week. Him and Dante Foreman are fantastic. No Zeke. It's finally time to let Tony Pollard go. All right. On top of that, Dallas is a run-heavy team, and they're favored in this game. Tony Pollard is going to be heavily used here with no Zeke, so I love Tony Pollard. All right. Sorry, y'all. I'm still recovering. All right. At wide receiver, we have Josh Reynolds as the run back for Detroit. If you have Miami, he's a solid option at 5K. CeeDee Lamb, sure, but they're not super pass heavy. And this game doesn't seem super enticing to me, and he's 7K, so Um, Drake London's interesting to me because you're going to probably have a Carolina play. You're probably going to have Foreman. So running it back with London is fine. London has not been very good, but he is getting the most targets out of anyone on his team. Like, he is the highest target share guy on this team. Okay? It might not look like it, and he didn't get targeted well last week, but he will have a big game soon. All right? All right. So that's about it. DJ Moore, Tyreek Hill, Robert Woods, Thielen, Jefferson, Reynolds, CeeDee Lamb, Shore, all in place for me. Amon-Ra St. Brown, you can also run back with the Miami stack. But that's about it for wide receiver. Tight end, Tyler Higbee is my favorite point per dollar play just because the Rams are so pass heavy. It's going to be a good game here, so they're going to continue to have to pass. Probably they will probably be behind. Tyler Higbee is a solid option. And like I said, he runs a ton of routes every week. He is on a pass heavy team. That's just a recipe for success at 4-2. Noah Fant for Seattle is interesting with DK Metcalf out. You could probably see more targets for Noah Fant. Pat Fryermuth, I talked about him already. Pittsburgh's going to be behind heavily, have to throw a ton, and Pat has been a huge target for this rookie quarterback. But that's about it, man. I really got my core going here. Higbee, Fant, Fairmute, those guys are really interesting to me this week. And then defense. We went through this pretty smoothly, man. Defense, you got the Eagles D projected at the top. Then you got the Cowboys, Colts, Falcons, Titans, Jets, Commanders, blah, blah, blah. Point per salary, if you're going for the best point per salary option, you got the Commanders that you can take advantage of if you're not believing in Ellinger. I'm going to have Ellinger. So I think Ellinger has a solid game. Honestly, I'm going to have faith in him. Hopefully he does. Just off the rushing ability, I think he has some success. But the Commanders are interesting, sure, because this is dude's first start. The Eagles' defense is really my favorite because they're going to get up big in this one. They're at home in Philly. This is a lot for a rookie quarterback to deal with. At 3-9, I really like them. I don't like spending up for defense, but this week I'm kind of leaning towards it because the best value defense is Commanders. And if you do go a Ellinger route, it's probably not going to correlate very well going the defense against him. You know what I mean? So, and I really love Ellinger. So I'm not going to talk a ton about Commanders, but if you don't have Ellinger, it's a fine option to go with at only 2.6. Let's see. I talked about the 49ers before because they're facing the Rams, who have given up the most fantasy points to defenses. They're an option. But that's about it, man. It's the Eagles for me, or the Cowboys for me. I really like spending up for defense this week, which is not a normal thing that you're used to hearing me say, but I have some interest in it. I'm not going to lie, because like I said, the best value defense is going to be Commanders, and if I have Ellinger, I'm not going to want him. If you don't have Ellinger, Commanders is the best value. If you have Ellinger, you're probably going to want the Eagles or the Cowboys. All right, so let's go back. Remember, I want to reiterate once again because Pollard wasn't projected right when I came in here and did the running back. As you can see, if I just quickly adjust him to 17.5, which I might even have him higher after I deep dive and get his projection where I want it. Tony Pollard's probably point per dollar, one of my favorite. Him, Kenneth Walker, Dante Foreman are going to be my favorite running back options this week, okay? Tony Pollard, do not sleep on him. Because as we know, Dallas is a run-heavy team already. They run like 40, one of the more run-heavy teams in the entire league so far this year. So with that being said, and Zeke out, expect them to rely a lot on Tony Pollard, especially in a a game a friendly script for running backs as well for Dallas. So really love Tony Pollard. Don't know why I had his projection so low. I could have sworn I adjusted it already when the Zeke news came out. I guess it didn't save, but either way, I'm really high on Tony Pollard and want to reiterate that. At wide receiver, we've got DJ Moore, fantastic option. Tyreek Hill, Robert Woods, Thielen, Jefferson, Reynolds, CeeDee Lamb, DeAndre got huge target share in his first game back. They should be playing catch up against Minnesota. Especially, I do like, I will say, a sneaky GPP option is the Cousins paired with Jefferson, run back with DeAndre, but you're using a lot of money there. Or Cousins paired up with Thielen, run back with DeAndre. That I mean, that's an interesting GPP correlated type lineup. George Pickens at 4.7 should get a heavy targets playing from behind heavy here. Drake London, once again, that game's going to come eventually. He is getting 30% wide receiver target share. Last week he sucked, but um, overall this season he is getting majority of the targets. But that's about it, man. It's pretty weak at wide receiver unless you're spending up for some studs. Outside of DJ Moore, it's pretty weak value wise unless you're paying up. Um, so with that being said, I like the DJ Moore pairing, also paying up for the rest of them, going kind of those cheap value running backs that we saw mid range, 6K, 5K range, um, kind of balancing it out, using the value of Ellinger or paying up for a Tua to pair with Tyreek or stuff like that. That's kind of the way I like this slate as well. Obviously, I'm going to spend 2 more days on, really perfecting it. And I will have that at Greenlight DFS on the NFL Access page before the slate starts Sunday. I'm excited for it, man. We had a huge week last week. If we don't have that injury in our lineup last week, we go crazy. So, I mean, it would have been huge. Who was it that got hurt? I forget who got hurt in our lineups. I'm blanking on his name right now. But he scored really quick. Brees Hall. Brees Hall. We had Brees Hall. If Brees Hall plays the full game, he probably drops 30 the way he was playing. And we're definitely looking at takedown. So we were right there on it. We had it if it wasn't for injuries. So let's get it this week, man. No injuries, baby. Pray for no injuries. Let's get that takedown. Y'all have an amazing weekend. Y'all stay safe. Obviously, the videos won't be around this weekend. I take the weekends off of videos, but I will be back Monday for the videos for NBA and NFL and all that good stuff. Hit up greenlightdfs.com if you want to know what I feel like the most optimal line is. You'll get that and the optimizer and the bets and all that stuff if you hit up Greenlight. So, um, thank you guys for joining me as always, and I'm out. Peace.